Shalom Lakem, Kal Yisrael. How's your peace, Israel? Welcome back to another video. And we are continuing Hasafar, Yahweh Shai, the book of, it should be Hasafar, Hi Yahweh Shai, which is the book of Joshua. We're in chapter 11, and the context here is the conquest in northern Canaan. And it reads on this wise. When Jabin, the king of Hazor, heard of this, he sent to Yobab, king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Akshaph, and to the kings who were in the northern hill country, and in the Arabah, south of Chinneroth, and in the lowland, and in Naphoth Dor, on the west, to the Canaanites in the east, and the west, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Jebusites in the hill country, and the Hivites under Hermon in the land of Mizpah. And they came out with all their troops, a great horde in number, like the sand that is on the seashore, with very many horses and chariots. And all these kings joined their forces and came and encamped together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. And the Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, for tomorrow at this time I'll give over all of them slain to Israel. You shall hamstring their horses and burn their chariots with fire." So Joshua and all his warriors came suddenly against them by the waters of Merom and fell upon them, and the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel, who struck them and chased them as far as Great Sidon and Mesrephoth Maim, and eastward as far as Valley Mizpeh. And they struck him until he left none remaining. And Joshua did to them just as the Lord said to him. He hamstrung their horses and burned their chariots with fire. And Joshua turned back at the time and captured Hazor and struck his king with the sword. For Hazor formerly was the head of all those kingdoms, and they struck with the sword all who were in it, devoting them to destruction. There was none left that breathed, and he burned Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings and all their kings Joshua captured and struck them with the edge of the sword, devoting them to destruction, just as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded. But none of the cities that stood on mounds did Israel burn, except Hazor alone, that Joshua burned. And all the spoil of these cities and the livestock and the people of Israel took for their plunder. But every person they struck with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, and they did not leave any who breathed, just as the Lord commanded Moses his servant. So Moses commanded Joshua, and so Joshua did. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord had commanded Moses. So Joshua took all the land, that the hill country, and all the Negeb, and the land of Goshen, and the lowland, and the Arabah, and the hill country of Israel, and its lowland from Mount Halak, which rises towards Seir, as far as Baal Gad, in the valley of Lebanon, below the Mount Hermon. And he captured all their kings and struck them and put them to death. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the people of Israel except the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gideon. They took them all in battle, for it was the Lord's doing to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, in order that they should be devoted to destruction, and should receive no mercy, but be destroyed, just as the Lord commanded Moses. Joshua came at that time and cut off the Anakim from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua devoted them to destruction with their cities. There was none of the Anakim left in the land of the people of Israel. Only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod did some remain. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord had spoken to Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance to Israel according to the tribal allotments, and the land had rest from war. Context here is kings defeated by Moses. Now these are the kings of the land whom the people of Israel defeated and took possession of their land beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise, from the valley of the Arnon to the Mount Hermon. Okay, with all the Arabah eastward. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived at Heshbon and ruled from Aurora, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and from the middle of the valley as far as the river Jabbok, the boundary of the Ammonites, that is half of Gilead, and the Arabah to the sea of Kinnaroth, eastward, and in the direction of Beth Yeshimoth, to the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, southward to the foot of the slopes of Pisgah, and Og, the king of Bashan, one of the remnants of the Rephaim, who lived in Ashtaroth and at Edrei, and ruled over Mount Hermon and Salakah, and all Bashan to the boundary of the Gershurites, and the Maacathites, and over half of Gilead to the boundary of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the people of Israel defeated them. And Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave their land for a possession to the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh. The context is kings defeated by Joshua. It says, verse 7, it says, and these are the kings of the Lord, of the land, whom Joshua and the people of Israel defeated on the west side of the Jordan, from Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Halak, that rises towards Seir. And Joshua gave their land to the tribes of Israel as a possession according to their allotments, in the hill country, in the lowland, in the Arabah, in the slopes, in the wilderness, and in the Negeb, the land of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The king of Jericho, the king of Ai, which is beside Bethel, one, the king of Jerusalem, one, the king of Hebron, one, the king of Yeremoth, one, the king of Lachish, and one, the king of Eglon, the king of Gezer, one, the king of Debir, one, the king of Geder, one, the king of Hormah, one, the king of Arad, one, the king of Libnah, one, the king of Adullam, one, the king of Makkedah, one, the king of Bethel, one, the king of Tupua, one, the king of Hepher, one, the king of Aphek, one, the king of Lasharon, one, the king of Madon, one, the king of Hazor, one, the king of Shimron Meron, one, the king of Akshaph, one, the king of Tanakh, one, the king of Megiddo, one, the king of Kadesh, one, the king of Yochanim, one, Yochanim in Carmel, one, the king of Dor in Naphath Dor, one, the king of Goim in the Galilee, one, the king of Tirzah, one, in all 31 kings. The context is land still be conquered. Chapter 13 says, now Joshua, who was old and advanced in years, and the Lord said to him, you are old and advanced in years, and there remains yet very much land to possess. This is the land that yet remains, all the regions of the Philistines and all those of the Gershurites, from the Sihor, which east of Egypt, northwards to the boundary of Ekron, it is counted as Canaanite. There are 5 rulers as the Philistines there are 5 rulers of the Philistines, those of Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, and those of the Avim in the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and the Merah that belonged to the Sidonians, to Aphek, to the boundary of the Amorites, and the land of the Gebalites, and all of Lebanon towards the sunrise, from Baal Gad below Mount Hermon to Lebo Hamath, all the inhabitants of the hill country from Lebanon to Misrephoth Maim, even all the Sidonians. I myself will drive them out from before the people of Israel. Only allot the land of Israel for an inheritance, as I have commanded you. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and half the tribe of Manasseh. Next context, the inheritance east of the Jordan. It says, with the other half of the tribe of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond the Jordan eastwards, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them, from Aurora, which is on the edge of the valley of Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the table land of Medeba, as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the boundaries of the Ammonites, and Gilead, and the region of the Gershurites, and the Maachathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan to Salakah, all the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth and in Edrei. He alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. These Moses had struck and driven out, yet the people of Israel did not drive out the Gershurites or the Maachathites, but Geshur and Maachath dwell in the midst of Israel to this day. Okay, it's quite interesting because actually the father did say that we were supposed to remove all the Canaanites out of the land, and if we did not, we would get caught up in their judgment, i.e., that when he wanted to judge the Canaanites, we would also, we would end up being judged as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we've let them dwell amongst us. Their sin would affect us. You get what I'm saying? It says, to the tribe of Levi alone, Moses gave no inheritance. The offerings by the fire to the Lord God of Israel are their inheritance, as he said to him. And Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the people of Reuben according to their clans. So their territory was with Aurora, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the tableland by Medeba, with Heshbon, and all its cities that are in tableland, Dibon and Bamothbaal, and Beth Baal Meon, and Yahaz, and Kedimoth, and Mephath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zerath Shahar on the hill of the valley, and Beth Peor, and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Yeshimoth, that is, all the cities of the tableland, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses defeated with the leaders of Midian, Evi and Rechem, and Zur and Hur and Rebah, the princes of Sihon, who lived in the land. Balaam, also the son of Beor, the one who practiced divination, was killed with the sword by the people of Israel among the rest of their slain. And the border of the people of Reuben was the Jordan as a boundary. This was the inheritance of the people of Reuben, according to their clans with their cities and villages. Moses gave an inheritance also to the tribe of Gad, to the people of Gad, according to their clans. Their territory was Jazer and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the Ammonites to Aurora, which is east of Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramath Mizpeh and Betonim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debir, and the valley of Beth Haram, Beth Nimarah, Sukkoth, and Zephon, the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, having the Jordan as a boundary, to the lower end of the sea of Kinneroth, eastward beyond the Jordan. This is the inheritance of the people of Gad, according to their clans, and with their cities and villages. And Moses gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to the half-tribe of the people of Manasseh, according to their clans. Their region extended from Mahanaim through all Bashan, the whole kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities, and half Gilead and Ashtaroth and Edrei, the cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. These were allotted to the people of Machir, the son of Manasseh, for the half of the people of Machir, according to their clans. These are the inheritance that Moses distributed in their plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan, east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses gave no inheritance. The Lord God of Israel is their inheritance, just as he said to them. Chapter 14, the inheritance west of the Jordan. Okay. It says, these are the inheritance that the people of Israel received in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of their fathers, the father houses of the tribes of the people of Israel, gave to inherit. The inheritance was by lot, just as the Lord had commanded by the hand of Moses for the 9 1/2 tribes. For Moses had given an inheritance to the 2 1/2 tribes beyond the Jordan, but to the Levites he gave no inheritance among them. For the people of Joshua were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and no portion was given to the Levites in the land, but only cities to dwell in, with their pasture lands for their livestock and their substance. The people of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses. They allotted the land. Then the people of Judah came to Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said to him, "You know what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, in Kadesh Barnea concerning you and me. I was 40 I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought him word again as it was in my heart. But my brothers who went up with me made the heart of the people melt. Yet I wholly followed the Lord my God. And Moses swore on that day, saying, Surely the land on which your foot has trodden shall be an inheritance for you and your children forever, because you have wholly followed the Lord my God. And now, behold, the Lord has kept me alive, just as he said, these 45 years since the time that the Lord spoke this word to Moses while Israel walked in the wilderness. And now, behold, I am this day 85 years old. I am still as strong today as I was in the day that Moses sent me. My strength now is as my strength was then, for war and for going and coming. So now give me this hill country of which the Lord spoke on that day, for you heard on that day how the Anakim were there with great fortified cities. It may be that the Lord will be with me, and I shall drive them out, just as the Lord said. Then Joshua blessed him, and he gave Hebron to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, for an inheritance. Therefore Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, to this day, because he wholly followed the Lord, the God of Israel. Now the name of Hebron formerly was Kiriath Arabah. Arabah was the greatest man among the Anakim. These were giants, and the land had rest from war. Okay, going to keep going through the Spirit. We're in chapter 15. The allotment for Judah. It says, the allotment for the tribe of Judah, the people of Judah according to their clans, reached southward to the boundaries of Edom. Okay, so actually, let's just get that. So see which one's the most detailed. This one looks kind of detailed. Let's click on that one. It's lagging out a bit. Not too sure why it's taking so long. Wow. Click on it again. Okay. Okay, doesn't want to zoom anymore, but you can see Judah is supposed to be, yeah, so Judah is supposed to come down all the way down to the Edomites here. Okay, so that's what we just read. It says, and their south boundary ran. No, so it says the allotment of the tribe of Judah, the people of Judah, according to the clans, reached southwards to the boundary of the Edomites. So this is the Edomites here, right? Yeah, this is Edom. This is our brother Edom, and this is where this is Judah's border. Okay. To the wilderness of Zin at the furthest south. Okay. So the wilderness of Zin, I guess, would be somewhere this side here. Yeah, I'm not too sure. With these maps, it's kind of confusing. I kind of really need to go to the land in order for us to really analyze this thing. But there's some parts of these maps that are, we based on the scripture, we can kind of make sense of it. And it says, and their south boundary ran from the end of the Salt Sea. So this is the Salt Sea. And so that was what it said. Their boundary was from here, the end of the Salt Sea, and it went all the way down, right? So everywhere on this edge, this is all Judah here, like here. Okay. and where we crossed is somewhere here. So this is you're going to find this is where Benjamin is, but Judah was south. Okay, it's further south. Okay, let's read. Yeah, and their south boundary ran from the end of the Salt Sea from the bay and faced southward. It goes out southward at the accent of the Akarabim, passing along to Zin, goes up south of Kadesh Barnea, which is again, I guess it's here, along by Hezron up to Adar, turns to Karaka. Let's see if I can click this thing and zoom in a bit more because it's not making. Oh, there we go. Okay. Karaka passing along the Asmon, right, goes out by the brook of Egypt and comes to the ends of the sea. So I think it's dealing with this area here. It's dealing with how it somehow comes up here. And then what it says, passes along the Asmon, goes up by the brook of the Egypt and comes to the end of the sea. This shall be your south boundary, and the east boundary is the Salt Sea to the mouth of the Jordan, and the boundary, which is this bit here, and the boundary goes up to Beth Hoglah and passes along north of Beth Arabah, and the boundary goes up to the stone of Bahon, the son of Reuben. Okay, I don't know if these maps are very difficult to use because they're not all correct. And the boundary goes up to Debir from the valley of Akor and to the northward towards Gilgal, which is opposite the accent of Adumim, which is on the south side of the valley. And the boundary passes along to the waters of En Shemesh and ends at En Rogel. Then the boundary goes up by the valley of the son of Hinnom at the southern shoulder of the Jebusite, that is Jerusalem. And the boundary goes up to the top of the mountain that lies over against the valley of Hinnom on the valley of the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. Okay, then the boundary extends from the top of the mountain to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, from the cities of Mount Ephron. Okay, then the boundaries bend around to Baalah, that is Kiriath Yarim. I'm not too sure where that is. And the boundary circles west of Baalah to the Mount Seir. Okay, Mount Seir should be here. This should be all Mount Seir. This is where Edom lives. This is all in the mountains of Seir. Okay, and passing along to the northern shoulder of Mount Jeram. I'm not too sure what that is, but that is in Chesalon, and goes down to Beth Shemesh and passes along by Timnah. The boundary goes out to the shoulder of the hill north of Ekron. Then the boundaries bends around to Shekron and passes along to Mount Balaal, goes out to Jabneh. So like how we can really understand this thing is usually like particular elements of land. So like where we see mountains, we can establish that certain place. If it says that it's Mount Seir, we know this is Mount Seir. It's quite easy because there is a lot of mountains in this area, and that's typically how it makes us understand where that geographical location is based on things that we can see. But there's certain places where they've got wrong because there isn't much to show. It's just land. It's difficult. Where we'd have to actually find certain things. We have to find certain things that would